Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University. I'm Jim Bresnahan. I'm joined by Jake McMahon. We're getting ready to bring you Knights basketball. Southern Virginia getting ready to host York College today for a doubleheader, obviously. Women's contest first, Jake, followed by the men's contest. In just a few seconds, we will have the women's contest featuring the Knights, who are 0-11 right now in the conference and 3-15 on the season, facing a York Spartans team that is 7-4 in the Capital Conference and 13-5 overall. Again, the Knights 0-11 in the conference, but that's a little deceiving. They've been playing very competitive of late, and perhaps today is the day they get that first Capital Conference win.
The Knights certainly not having the season they hope to have so far yet, Jim. Postseason probably out of the question at this point. The Knights just trying to salvage a few wins, hopefully. And like you said, Jim, the Knights have been playing rather competitively, especially across the month of January, not losing. So, as you said, not picking up any wins, but also not uncompetitive in their matches whatsoever. The Knights looking to get back on track today.
And Jake, how about the starters today for the Knights?
Absolutely. Starting today for the Knights, we have number 11, freshman from Murray, Utah, Corey Stout. Number 21, freshman from Cumming, Georgia, Kelsey Johnson. Number 23, sophomore from Oceanside, California, Alexis Barnes. Number 30, a sophomore from Suffield, Connecticut, Meredith Willett. And the center and junior, number 41 from West Richland, Washington, Shelby Windsor.
And it's been interesting the way this season has transpired for the Knights. A lot of different starting lineup combinations really throughout the season. And here of late, two players have really stepped it up as far as the offense is concerned. That would be Kimberly Eads and Kelsey Johnson. Kelsey Johnson getting her third start in a row today.
You're exactly right, Jim. The Knights looking for consistency out of individual players, which they haven't really had. Like you said, one game, Shelby Windsor. She scores 3 or 4 points, and it's Jamila Gamby who scores 20 points. And then the next game, it's Kelsey Johnson out of nowhere who scores. So up today as we get underway here for Knights action in the Knights Sports Arena.
And we are getting ready to get underway here with the Knights having Shelby Windsor tip it off for the Knights, and the Knights win that opening tip. Corey Stout with the ball. Corey Stout has been up and down this season as far as playing time simply because of injuries, but when she has played, she's been dynamite. Meredith Willett, really the top three-point threat for the Knights, although Corey Stout's going to launch this one and hits it right off the bat.
Jim, Corey Stout, as you said, has been battling injury this year, but she is shooting 45% from three. Takes a lot of three-point shots and makes a lot of them. Look for her to be involved from beyond the perimeter today.
York comes right back with a basket to make it 3-2. Lob down low for Windsor. Shelby lost the ball. York comes away with it. York again 7-4 in the Capital Conference, 13-5 overall. Knights get it on the turnover. York came in fourth place in the conference. Corey Stout already has a three today, early on in this first quarter. Now Meredith Willett will launch a jumper. Tough miss there. Good honking defense by the Knights, but the Spartans will bring it across the timeline. This is Roos on a drive. Nice block by Alexis Barnes.
Monster block by Alexis Barnes, Jim. Alexis hasn't had a lot of blocks this season. That is just her fifth of the season, but she is a very physical and intense player. You'll be looking for the Knights to gain some momentum here early. I think that's going to be the key to this game, is getting momentum early, defensive stops, and offensive
Another
opportunities.
block by Barnes.
And there it is, number 6 on the season. Now has gone from 4 blocks on the season to 6 in a matter of 30 seconds and gets her own offensive rebound.
And Alexis Barnes will shoot from the corner. And that one is no good. But that block, that second block she had, Jake, certainly stopped an easy layup for York.
Alexis certainly giving the Knights momentum on the defensive end so far.
Slim 1-point lead, 3-pointer outside is good by Wisely of York, and she puts the Spartans on top for the first time today. 5-3 York College on top. These two teams met a few weeks ago at York, Jake, and York had a convincing victory as the Knights trying to avoid a turnover. The ball out of bounds, though, and the ball goes over to the Spartans.
Yeah, Jim, they've had 3 weeks exactly to the day since they visited Pennsylvania to play York College of Pennsylvania, losing by 12 points there. And since losing to Mary Washington in their last matchup on Wednesday, the 25th of January, 69-55 by 14 points. Pretty competitive game against the number 10 ranked team in the nation.
Lob down low for Wagner. She gets free inside. Make that with the basket was Morgan Golick to make it 7-3 York. So York, after that three-pointer by Stout, 7 straight unanswered points. Windsor with a nice head fake. She can't get the roll.
Look for Windsor to play controlled down low today. That's real typically the question with Shelby Windsor, and whether she plays well and scores high or not is she has to be controlled under the basket. Sometimes she goes up a little too strong, as you can see there, and misses the layup. Shelby is an absolute key to the Knights' success down low.
They ask her to do so much inside, Jake, and you also have to wonder as the game goes on, stamina's got to come into play for a player like Windsor, who, again, really takes a lot of the inside play for the Knights.
You're exactly right, Jim. But the other benefit for the Knights is that Kimberly Eads has been playing so well, and she is a great substitute for Windsor when she does get winded down low.
Golick couldn't handle the pass. Turnover for the Spartans. Now the Knights will try to cut into this 4-point lead. Here's a lob down low, knocked away. They almost had Windsor triple teamed that time. And on the break, the other way, it's an easy layup, and a timeout going to be taken as Wagner scores for York, and they are on a 9-0 run, and the Knights will take a quick timeout with 6:59 to go in the quarter.
You see the Knights trying to play very sticky defense here, but getting caught on some of these fast breaks after turnovers. The Knights are going to have to stay out of turnover trouble, averaging 25 turnovers a game in comparison to the Spartans, only 16 per game. The Knights are going to need to mitigate the amount.
Gamby, Alexis Scott, Angel Tuisavura is in to join Kelsey Johnson. We mentioned that Kimberly Eads has really been dominant inside offensively for the Knights the last couple of games.
Absolutely. Kimberly now averaging about 10 points a game.
They work it over to Kimberly. She drives to the left side, had the shot blocked. Kimberly loves to go to her left, and that time the shot was blocked and out of bounds. Last touch by the Spartans, so it's still Knights basketball with 16 on the shot clock. Gamby inbounding outside. Tuisavura grabs it. Shot clock's at 12. Here's Eads spinning. Couldn't get the shot away. Missed it. Scramble for that ball. Looks like it'll go over to York.
For Kimberly's first shot of the game, blocked by number 24, Sam Ruse. 5 blocks, now 40 blocks a game. That's pretty impressive.
And she's a senior. She's one of those players you remember year to year, not just for her playing ability, but her name. And she has been really dominant for York the last couple of years. Pass low and an easy layup for Wagner again, who slipped behind a couple of Knights defensively to give York an 11-3 lead. Tuisavura quickly across the timeline. Knights looks like the first foul of the game will go against York College. Wagner is going to pick that one up.
It's a great heads-up play there by Kimberly Eads down low, Jim, as she goes up a little too hard, but able to get back up quickly and slap the ball out to the perimeter so the Knights maintain possession.
So Corey Stout hit the three-pointer to start play in this first quarter, and York has scored 11 in a row. Knights, 5-second call on Jamila Gamby, unable to get that ball in. Turnover for the Knights. Knights will have backcourt pressure trying to get a turnover, but the Spartans break the pressure. This is Bishie with it. They go over to the left. That's Wisely missing a three, and Tuli Severa grabs the rebound. Now the Knights will try again to stop that 11-0 run by York. At the foul line, it's Johnson hitting. Kelsey Johnson, who is really being stepping hit.
But Nylon on her first attempt of the game.
Eads thought she got there in time, but they call a block on Eads. No, they call a charge. Looked like they had called a block initially, and the referee either changed his mind or perhaps had called a charge from the get-go.
Yeah, you definitely don't see that too often, Jim. Definitely the blocking signal from the referee immediately following the foul, but a reversal, you don't see that very often.
Works out for the Knights, though. 11-5. Knights down by 6. Eads way outside. Almost lost it. Tuli Severa now back to Eads. Working inside. She lowered the shoulder, and it's called for a travel.
Eads definitely feeling the pressure down low from players such as Sam Ruse and number 23, Morgan Golick. As she gets a little too antsy there, she throws down the elbow and forgets her footing and gets called for the travel.
Way outside, it's Ruse hitting a three. Sam Ruse, the senior, hitting a three to make it 14-5. York by 9. This is Alexis Scott going baseline in. Her shot is blocked out of bounds by Gold. Windsor will check back in for the Knights, replacing Kelsey Johnson.
The Spartans playing some stiff defense down low, Jim, already recording 3 or 4 blocks today. The Knights are going to have to figure it out down low, play a little tougher or make things happen beyond the perimeter, and there it is. Shelby Windsor down low with her first 2 points of the game.
Shelby getting free for the two-pointer to make it 14-7, and steal by Tuli Severa. Back the other way come the Knights on a fast break. Angel Tuli Severa making a big defensive play. He's looking down low for Windsor, tried to force that pass in there, knocked away, and Angel Tuli Severa with a good foul because otherwise it's an easy fast break for York.
Good foul by Tuli Severa there, definitely going to make the Spartans earn their points, and that's what it needs to come down to. Right now, the Knights handing points to the Spartans as they go up 7 points really quickly here in the first quarter. The Knights need to make York College earn their points tonight if they're going to stay in this game.
A couple of substitutions into the game, Sarah Shearer and also Katie McGowan for the Spartans, who lead here 14-7, and Gambia almost got the steal. Lost it out of bounds, so it's still going to be York basketball with 21 on the shot clock.
Gambia, great defensive player for the Knights, finds herself in foul trouble a lot, but also creates a lot of defensive opportunities for the Knights with 39 rebounds on the season, leading the Knights by a long shot in steals.
Long three outside by York is no good, but there's Wagner for an easy rebound, and now Windsor pushes her from behind and picks up the foul. Long rebound on a three-pointer, and Wagner was right there for the easy rebound as Labria Hendricks will come into the game. Little 5'5" sophomore from Red Lion, Pennsylvania. She'll inbounds. York on top here by 7. Nice knockaway by Eads. Retrieved by York. And a foul called on the Knights. McGowan will go to the foul line to shoot 2.
First free throws of the game today for York College of Pennsylvania. The team overall shooting about 66% from the free throw line, and her first is good.
And it gives the Spartans an 8-point lead. 15-4 run now for York after Stout hit that opening three-pointer, and now it's a 16-4 run, a 16-7 lead for York. Knights working into the front court. See if they try to go inside again. York's really been packing the defense inside. Shot clock is at 8. And there is Alexis Scott with a baseline jumper.
Great to see Alexis Scott getting some minutes this year, Jim, as she's a very talented and athletic player. Didn't get a lot of playing time her freshman year, but now as a sophomore getting an opportunity to show her stuff a little bit.
Came in with just 11 points on the season. Hits those 2. Wagner outside fires a 3. She can't hit. Rebound battled for and pulled away by the Knights. It's Gambie with it. Jamila runs into Hendricks, and Hendricks will pick up the foul call.
Hendricks obviously not happy with the call, thinking that Jamila might have tripped a little bit, but nonetheless, the Knights will come away with giving away another foul, or York getting a foul, and they are one closer to the bonus.
Each team with 3 team fouls now in this first quarter as Gamby is out and Alexis Barnes is in. Knights trying to battle back in this first quarter after jumping out to a 3-0 lead. Scott, nice pass inside to Windsor. She got hit inside on the arm, and she'll go to the foul line to shoot 2.
Ruse isn't happy. It almost looked like it was all ball, but the ref obviously seeing something different right there next to the play. Windsor will go to the line for the first time today. She is averaging averaging 68% from the free throw line as she makes her first one.
Came in averaging just over 13 points a game. Leading scorer this season for the Knights. Hits the foul shot. Knights within 5 just all of a sudden here. Nice run by Southern Virginia to climb back into it. This is Shearer over to Wagner. Wagner working on Scott. Has the height advantage there. Now the Knights have worked this shot clock down the 10. Steal by Stout. Doesn't have the numbers. Holds it up a little bit. Good defense by the Knights. They got a chance here to climb a little closer, down by 6. Scott with a jump shot left side. She was fouled. She'll go to the foul line to shoot 2, and Hendricks just picked up another foul. I believe that's her second.
Good job by Alexis Scott there on the wing to just pull the trigger in an opportunity like that. She saw Debria Hendricks coming in for the defensive stop hard, and rather than maybe hesitating and going for a layup, she just pulled the trigger, drew the foul. It was nice.
Yeah, the first foul shot by Scott is good as Kelsey Johnson will check back in for the Knights, giving Shelby Windsor a much-needed rest in this first quarter. And Alexis Scott off the bench, really contributing here in this first quarter. Another foul shot to pull the Knights within 4. And the Kelsey Johnson looked like she was trying to get the steal and ends up getting the foul instead. You've got another York player a little further down the court near the basket, when it might have been easy too for York.
Knights definitely might have gotten away with one here. Obviously starting to figure out this full court press against the Spartans here in the first quarter, better now than later, as the Knights are playing some pretty sticky defense, have switched from a 2-3 zone.
She gives York a 19-12 lead. York.
Eads just giving her a little too much space there on the top of the key. Well, 7.4 points a game, and actually only 15% that behind the arc. I stand corrected. She doesn't hit many, but she did hit that one.
And Alexis Barnes looked like she was indecisive in that right corner as to what to do with it. She went baseline. I believe she stepped out of bounds, and the ball goes back over to York. Backcourt pressure by the Knights, and a steal by Kimberly Eads, but she loses it out of bounds. It's going to be York's basketball with 23 on the shot clock. And, of course, York has not advanced the ball beyond the midcourt line just yet. Now they do to Wagner. Wagner looked like she might have stepped out of bounds. Pass down low. Shot no good. Foul called. Kimberly Eads will pick this one up.
On this full court press, Jim, it takes one defender not perfectly completing their assignment to leave one person open to have an easy shot. It takes all 5 players on the court in order to complete the full court press well and to have it done well. And so far, the Knights probably about 50-50. Half their full court press is going really well, creating some turnovers, and the other half getting themselves into foul trouble or allowing easy buckets.
Yeah, it's a high risk, high reward. The reward, obviously, is the steal and maybe a 2-pointer. The risk, obviously, is, as you mentioned, giving up easy layups or committing fouls. 9-point lead for the Spartans. Now they're going to use some backcourt pressure. Knights working up to Kelsey Johnson. Jamila Gamby is also back into the game now for the Knights. With 1:25 to go in this quarter. lazy pass. It almost didn't get there. It is taken away by Wagner. Kelsey Johnson almost got it, but Wagner all the way, and she is fouled by Corey Stout. That pass took forever to get from the right side of the court to midcourt, and it allowed Wagner, Jake, to step in front of it.
The Knights need to be smarter passing the ball, Jim. If they're going to make a decision, it needs to be hard and it needs to be very decisive. Well, as you could see there, Jamila's pass, which turned into the turnover, obviously lazy, and that's not the only one that's been the case this game so far. A lot of just kind of soft passes that the Knights need to be decisive in passing the ball and pass smarter.
Wagner misses both foul shots, so no damage to the Knights except for the foul on Stout. Gamby going all the way and blocked. No foul call, out of bounds. It's still going to be Knights basketball with 23 on the shot clock. Looked like maybe a lot of contact. Certainly Gamby had her shot blocked, and they'll rule no contact, no foul, and as a result, the Knights will take it out of bounds with, again, 23 on the shot clock. Gamby gets it to Windsor, and she scores. Nice pass.
Great pass, great cut by Windsor. You see her coming in from the wing, getting right behind the defender who had her back to her. Didn't really see her coming from behind. Wide open pass. Good job by Jamila to make the good decision.
By the Knights. That aggressive full pass, full defense by the Knights, full pressure defense really working out there. Stout will try a three. Arching shot is short. Johnson right there for the rebound. Gamby will fire from the foul line, left her short.
See two completely different shots there. Corey Stout with a massive arc from the three-point line, and Jamila with almost no arc.
Kind of a flat shot there. Both were short. Knights had a chance to cut into that 7-point deficit. Now York will try to build it again with a three-pointer. Up and short that time. Outside by Shearer. Knights on a break. Don't really have the numbers. Stout all the way, and she can't hit. And the rebound is on the floor. Gamby grabbed it. Wagner fouled her, I believe. Or will Gamby pick it up? Who are they going to call this foul on? As Wagner and Gamby collided going after that ball. It's going to be on Wagner. It will indeed go against York. So the Knights ought to be shooting foul shots, I believe, here.
The Knights getting lucky there and getting away with a drawn foul. In the case of Corey Stout driving down the court, you could see as she gets into the paint, she veers left a little bit rather than taking a direct shot at the basket and basically robs herself of an opportunity to draw the foul by veering away from the basket as she avoids contact rather than not being afraid of it and possibly getting the drawn foul. Knights come away with one anyway, but it's situations like that that you need to...
Not time of the foul. Knights had a good look at a shot off the inbounds pass. Couldn't score. And now York will have it back after the Knights also made a few substitutions. Alexis Scott, Angel Tui-Savuri in there, and along with Hubert, Katie Hubert, back into the game. And Tui-Savuri gets the steal with less than a second to go, and she can't hit the jumper at the end. But the Knights playing some good defense to try to stay in this basketball game. Trailing here 21-14 at the end of one quarter, Jake. And York's been throwing up a lot of three-pointers. The Knights with that aggressive defense trying to stay in the basketball game.
When the Knights play defense, Jim, they play it really well. But as we said, it's about 50-50, and you just can't have that in a basketball game. If you're going to play defense well, it needs to be consistent, which reflects on the scoreboard. So when they're playing defense, they're playing it well, but unfortunately they're not playing it consistently enough to be able to stay in this game. Not too far behind, only 7 points, but if they continue to give up 7 points per quarter, that ends up being somewhat of a blowout game. The Knights playing defense well when they're getting into the press, when the man-to-man coverage is being performed well, but as I said, for the third time now, got to be more consistent.
You look at the team stats throughout the season. We talked about the inconsistency, all the different starting lineups, and it just seems like when the Knights have stumbled at times it's been rebounding, at other times it's been poor shooting, and other times turnovers. There really isn't one glaring department, I guess you could say, to put your finger on.
And it's really hard to say why that is, Jim. You know, it seems to be one of something and one of the other the next game. It's really hard to say why that is. Maybe the Knights between games are focusing on one thing a little too much and kind of forgetting the rest. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but the Knights definitely, as you said, Jim, need to find a way to make it all kind of mesh together rather than letting one slip and one do really well.
They do have 450 turnovers in 18 games, so that's a little over 20 turnovers a game. And the shooting percentage-wise for the season, Knights came in 39% from the field and just 32% as a team from three-point range. As a team, foul shooting-wise this season heading into the game, 62%. Knights trailing by 7 as we start this second quarter, and right off the bat, Kelsey Johnson had the ball knocked away from her. Turnover for Southern Virginia. Now the Knights will go with the pressure, trying to get the turnover right back, but York is able to maintain control of the ball, fire up a three, and hit it from the left side. That is Sam Mosniak scoring to make it 24-14 York College.
Mosniak shooting 34% from behind the arc. Pretty good percentage overall. Pulls the trigger really quickly.
And Mosniak on the takeaway the other way. Spins that layup up there. Can't get it to go too hard. And the Knights grab the rebound. Southern Virginia trying to reduce turnovers here after a few to start the second period. Knights down by 10 now. Gambi inside. Got her shot to go.
Impressive layup by Jamila Gambi, as it's kind of a long layup, but she makes a great cut. Good heads-up play by the Knights to make the pass to Jamila on the cut. Easy 2 points.
Mosniak going to try another three-pointer, and she hits again. So Sam Mosniak, the junior 5'9" guard from Annapolis, Maryland, hits a couple of threes, and suddenly it is York on top by 11. And a pass inside for Alexis Barnes, sails through her fingertips and out of bounds. Another turnover as the Knights will bring in several new players, including Alexis Scott and also Larissa Knight. Corey Stout also in there, along with Kimberly Eads and Shelby Windsor. Coach Heather Roberts playing a lot of people in this first half, trying to apply the pressure and keep her team fresh, as a miss there by York College. Nice rebound by Scott. Over to Larissa Knight. Knights trail by 11, trying to get a little closer here. Lob down low to Windsor, too strong on the shot. And pulling out the rebound there was Katie McGowan. York on a 2-on-2 break. Foul line jumper, up and no good. And Larissa Knight grabs the rebound for Southern Virginia University. Knights lost by 12 at York a few weeks ago, and Corey Stout banks home another three. That's her second three of the game. Knights within 8 now, 27-19. Backcourt pressure. York breaks the pressure, gets it across the timeline. This is Mosniak. She dribbles and misses inside. Knocked away by the Knights. Eads had it, lost it, and the shot clock hasn't reset though. It's down to 8. Jump shot, left side, good. And they're going to call a block on Southern Virginia. That one will go against Kimberly Eads. Nope, they're going to call it instead. Let's see who picks it up. I believe it was going to be Eads who picked that one up. They said 22, but that would be Morgan Hardvixen, and she's not out there, so Kimberly Eads picked it up.
Seems to have been a little bit of confusion there, Jim. It looks like the referee reported number 22, and it was obviously 32. Got it corrected. That will be Kimberly Eads' first foul of the game, first team foul of the second quarter. Gone almost a whole 3 minutes without a foul. A lot of back and forth here to begin the second quarter.
Beth Wisely checks in for York. 30-19 lead for the Spartans. Spartans with that backcourt pressure. Stout had the ball taken away. And so York grabs it on the Southern Virginia turnover.
Certainly a height disadvantage there for Stout.
And an easy three-pointer from the outside. Logan Fuller, a 5'9" sophomore from York, Pennsylvania, left wide open on the right side for that three-pointer, Jake. And it's 32-19, and a total upset with that defense, allowing someone to be totally open at the three-point line.
Too many defenders crashing down on the ball when it gets into the paint and leaving perimeter shots wide open, which seems to be one of the Achilles heels right now of the Knights in this basketball game, allowing way too many three-pointers. You also see the size difference between York College of Pennsylvania and Southern Virginia University taking its toll on the Knights so far, with that turnover, for example, with Corey Stout trying to pass the ball down low to Kimberly Eads, who's below the basket waiting for it, but just not tall enough to get over the long arms of York College of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Corey's 5'4". I'm guessing her defender had to be 5'9", 5'10".
Easily. And you see Coach Roberts not very happy right now. You know, size definitely plays a role, but you can overcome it. And in these cases to where you might have a shorter player stuck in a trap with a taller player, you have to move. And that's one of the downsides right now of the Knights, is that when a player gets stuck, you don't see a lot of movement.
And play with some energy to work yourself free for her. And York comes away with the basketball with a 13-point lead. And obviously, the further you fall behind, Jake, the more accentuated those turnovers really become, because when you're down by double digits, the last thing you can afford is a turnover. York turns the ball over. Knights grab it on the steal. Scott to Eads, and she is called for traveling as she was out of the foul line. She wanted to make that left-hand move, and unfortunately walked with the ball first.
Probably the most commonly called type of travel in the game of basketball, when you kind of have this pass fake or pump fake, and then the player starts stepping before they dribble the ball. It gets called very frequently, as many players are guilty of that kind of travel.
Eads gets it on the York. Turnover. Larissa Knight back the other way, all the way, and her shot is blocked out of bounds. No surprise there. Knight is 5'6", and Roos, who made the block, 6'1".
You can see the patience by Sam Roos, and you know it's not just this game, and it wasn't just that play, as we can see by now 47 or 48 blocks on the season, as she's added another 3 or 4 today. A very patient player, waits for the player to go up to take the shot before making contact. Very smart play.
Morgan Keeney fouling the Knights. That's her first foul, and that's the first team foul for York here in the second period. Knights trail by 13. Windsor to Willette. They'd love to get her going from three-point range. Eads will try a long outside jumper. Too strong there. Battle for the rebound. Tie up. Possession arrow will favor York. Again, it's just a matter of patience on offense. Really looking for the best shot with the best player. And a three-pointer by York on the right side is no good. And there is Willette grabbing the rebound for the Knights.
Knights getting away with another missed three-pointer there with a wide-open shot. Just one blown assignment, as we said, Jim. One blown assignment on this full-court press allows a wide-open shot down low or perimeter shooting. I mean, Shelby Windsor, when she stuck on a two-on-one situation there down low, made the good decision to stay down low and force the harder shot on the perimeter, but still wide open. Luckily got away with a miss.
And Roos trying to block Windsor, picks up her second foul as Windsor hits the foul shot. That pulls the Knights within 12 now, as Roos will come out of the game with those two fouls.
Entering the game for the Spartans is number 22, a sophomore from York, Pennsylvania, Katie McGowan.
Windsor hits both foul shots, and the Knights are within 11. And almost a steal by the Knights, but York breaks the pressure. Wagner works it to the left side for a jump shot, up and good by Keeney. Morgan Keeney, the 5'10 junior, hitting a jump shot from outside to make it 34-21.
Willette caught a little bit out of sorts there on that jump shot, and just a little too late getting to the defensive play, allowing a wide open jumper.
Knights working around the perimeter, down by 13 again. And we're going to have a foul call inside. A moving pick, apparently, will go against Alexis Barnes. So a foul on Southern Virginia gives the ball right back to York. York goes from left side to right side. And now down low, wide open player inside. That is going to be Wagner with an easy layup to make it 36-21. That was certainly a defensive breakdown there by the Knights.
Absolutely beautiful pass by number 34, Logan Fuller, seeing the cut down low by number 43, Katie Wagner, who makes a beautiful cut and exploits the the gap in the Knights defense, as you said, Jim. Easy layup for the Spartans.
Yeah, Larissa Knight the other way, able to angle her body away from the taller player to draw the contact to earn 2 foul shots. And Larissa Knight hits the first foul shot. She came in averaging 2.6 a game, 77% foul shooter. Kelsey Johnson is in to replace Eads in a second here, provided she hits the foul shot. Stout will replace Knight. She hits 2 big foul shots to pull her team within 13.
The name of the game here, Jim, is stops. The Knights need to get defensive stops here as we come closer to halftime. 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. The Knights need to get stops against this York College of Pennsylvania offense who's been exploiting them all day so far.
Yeah, the Knights would love to get it down to single digits by halftime. Ideally 6 or 7 points as opposed to 13. Pass down low, and Kelsey Johnson trying to knock that ball away. Looks like she's going to pick up the foul instead.
Comes over with that left hand onto the left shoulder of the offensive player for the Spartans and drawing the foul there, as she thought, not really aware of what her left hand was doing, as she comes over with the right and makes contact with the right with only the ball.
This is Bishy outside. 3-pointer by York is too strong. And over the backboard, so the Knights will grab it. Knights will have the basketball trailing by 13 after the missed 3-pointer by Logan Fuller outside. Boy, York is not shy about shooting that 3-pointer.
Absolutely not. And the Knights also haven't been shy on leaving them open.
True enough. Knights trailing by 13 here. 3-pointer would pull it down to 10. Well, that long 3-pointer left that one short, though, a little too far outside, but it's Barnes with the rebound. She'll fire immediately at 3 and hits.
And she gets a great play by Alexis Barnes, seeing the ball in the air after Roulette's shot, knowing that it's going to be short, makes a cut straight under the basket and comes up with a quick rebound, 3-point jumper, and nails it, nothing but net.
Kelsey Johnson grabs the steal and loses the ball, and now is fouled on her way up court. And that foul will go against Keeney. So Keeney will pick up the foul. And suddenly the Knights, with that Barnes 3-pointer, the Knights have pulled within 10 and have a chance to get it down to single digits now. The Knights trying to reduce this deficit before halftime. And they've got plenty of time. It's Barnes on a drive to the basket. Lost control of the ball. And it's, fortunately for the Knights, knocked out of bounds and last touch by the Spartans. Boy, Alexis Barnes almost carried that on her hip, Jake, and almost ended up traveling with the ball.
Very close. She made the decision from the 3-point line that she was going to drive. You'd like to see a little more ball movement by the Knights rather than just kind of a decision made a little prematurely to just drive to the basket. Luckily, out of bounds against the Spartans, and the Knights maintain possession.
To Windsor, too strong off the board. Got her own rebound and puts it up and in.
You have to give it to the Knights for fighting on that offensive possession, Jim. Getting offensive rebounds and not giving up until the ball ended up in the basket.
Knights really won that first Capital Conference win today. Now trailing by only 8. Spartans working to the left side, drive to the basket. Nice defense by the Knights, but it looks like a foul is going to be called on Southern Virginia. And Alexis Barnes will pick that one up.
Didn't have a really good line of sight here, Jim, on the foul. It almost looked like a block from our angle over here, but I guess it was much more hand than it was ball either way.
That is her 3rd foul, and it looks like they're not taking her out. With 2:44 to go to halftime. So Barnes has got to be careful here, Jake, with 3 fouls, as York extends that lead to 10.
Certainly possibly a sign of trust by Coach Roberts in the intelligence of Alexis Barnes to stay out of foul trouble as we approach the end of the first half. So far, been a key player in the Knights' offensive performance so far in this half. Coach Roberts electing to keep her in and trust that she'll stay out of foul trouble rather than keep taking her out.
York is called for the foul that time. It'll go against McGowan. And it'll send Shelby Windsor to the foul line. She's been very active in this first half offensively, and Shelby hits another foul shot. Now Gamby will check in, I believe, for Barnes. So Barnes comes out of there. And she was out there for, 30 seconds, Jake, with those 3 fouls, and fortunately did not pick up number 4.
Absolutely. You would absolutely hate for something like that to happen, but Alexis is a smart player, and she knew that she would probably be taken out of the game relatively shortly and elected to stay out of foul trouble. Probably smart on her part.
2 foul shots bring the Knights back to within 8 now, 38-30. This is Bishie lobbing it down low, and a shot by York, no good. Rebound, though, for the Spartans, and they get the follow shot up and in.
Big heads-up play there by Beth Wisely for York College of Pennsylvania to get the offensive rebound and the quick putback. The Knights can't allow offensive rebounds if they were hoping to stay into this game.
And Stout with that just 5'4" frame, faced by a taller defender, loses the basketball. York back the other way after the Knights turnover. Knights trailing now by 10 after they had worked the lead down to single digits. And now 1:49 to go till halftime.
Stout is a good basketball player, Jim, but as we said, obviously has a size disadvantage. And when she gets trapped in situations like that, the other players for Southern Virginia have to be aware of that size disadvantage and get lateral for lateral passes. If you're hoping to pass over the defender when you're Corey Stout, chances are it's not going to happen, as we've seen twice today.
Yeah, it really gets dangerous when she gives up the dribble, too, and the options are limited as a jump shot from outside is up and in. That one by Mosniak, and I believe that might be her third three-pointer of this first half to got it down to 8, but a timeout on the court with 1:41 to go.
Just like that, the Knights go down from 8 points, now down 13 points in a matter of seconds, Jim. I think only about 30 seconds have gone by, and the Spartans have scored 5 points. The Knights just need to play a little bit smarter basketball. I mean, so far the Spartans have turned the ball over much more than they are used to, but still down 13 points. The Knights need to get defensive stops. I mean, I'll wear it out probably the rest of this half, but it's what needs to be done, or defensive stops for the Knights in order to get back into this basketball game.
And just a minute 40 to work with before halftime as the Knights work it across the timeline, trailing by 13. Willett on a drive, left side, had the ball blocked away, and York comes away with the loose ball. And now the Spartans will try a break. It's Hendricks over to the right side. Mosniak with a leaner. Charge called on Mosniak. So the Knights dodge a bullet there. Lead stays at 13. And Southern Virginia's got another chance to cut into that Spartans lead a little bit as they face the backcourt pressure. Gamby works it up court in a hurry and scores.
Almost looked like a finger roll there, Jim, as she goes in. Jamila Gamby, a very, very beautiful finger roll, and 2 points for Gamby.
And that pulls the Knights within 11. Jump shot no good, but there's another offensive rebound. And Gamby trying to grab it. Instead, I believe will be called for the foul from behind.
Coach Roberts a little upset there after that foul call, hoping for a jump ball call for Gamby, but both hands were not on the ball, only one hand in there, which resulted in a foul rather than a jump ball.
It also results in foul shots for Wisely, and she misses the first one. Knights would love to get this down to maybe 7 points at halftime. Right now it's 11. Now it's 12. Golick back in for York, replacing McGowan. And now Leilani Hansen is going to check in a second here for the first time in this first half of the Knights as the Knights break the pressure. 45 seconds to go till halftime. Willett wide open for a three. And couldn't get the shot to go. Rebound, Willett. Missed it. Her third try. Up and no good again. Hendricks grabs the rebound. Hendricks is sandwiched. And they're called jump ball position arrow, and it favors the Knights, who had good defense after 3 misses by Meredith Willett.
Willett just needs to take her time a little bit, Jim. As you can see, the shot's going up a little too quickly before she's able to get her bearings, get good foot positioning on the ground, and get a good base in order to take a smart and clean shot. Luckily, the Knights still maintain possession.
And Hansen outside hits a three. Big three-pointer there by Hansen. Cuts that lead down to 9.
I was interested to see Leilani Hansen only coming into the game for the first time in this half a mere 40 seconds ago, Jim, as she has been a relatively big part in the Knights offense this season and a pretty good point scorer, especially behind the arc.
And Hendricks on a drive scores with 5 seconds to go. Knights have to hurry here. It's Larissa Knight with less than a second to go, and she can't get the shot off. And the Knights will go into halftime here, Jake, down 46-35. So it's going to be a double-digit lead for the York Spartans at halftime, as the Knights had got it down to around 8 points or so, but York just finding a way to keep that lead above double digits as we get to halftime, 46-35.
Absolutely, Jim. The Knights doing a better job in the second quarter at not allowing that lead to grow as much as it did in the first quarter. The Knights doing a little bit better job on the full court press, but as we've said multiple times, and as I said I'll wear it out, here I am wearing it out again, the Knights have to get defensive stops. It only takes one blown assignment on the full court press to allow one player to be caught defensively in a 2-on-1 situation in which they have to make a decision between an easy bucket down low or a three-point shot. Unfortunately for the Knights, the Spartans have been shooting pretty darn well from behind the arc today, which has highly contributed to the lead that they do have going into the second half.
So again, the Knights trying to get that first Capital Conference win. At halftime, it is York 46 and Southern Virginia 35. We'll take a little break here from the Knights Sports Arena.
Please don't stand in front of the camera. Please move away from in front of the camera. Just getting the audio.
Welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. Jim Bresnahan joined by Jake McMahon. Halftime score, it is York College 46, Southern Virginia University 35. The Knights were able to get out on top early behind a Corey Stout three-pointer, 3-0. Fell behind, got the lead under double digits down to 8 points at times late in that first half, but York able to go into the locker room with an 11-point halftime lead. And really, what stands out as far as the first half stats are concerned, Jake?
Well, York dominating on the offensive end, frankly, with shooting overall 51.6% from the field and 54.5% behind the arc. The Knights giving the Spartans lots of opportunities to shoot three-pointers this afternoon. In the first half, the Spartans taking those opportunities and capitalizing heavily. The Knights also shooting 50% behind the arc, but overall only 32.4%, which puts the Knights behind 11 points as we begin the second half.
And York starts the second half with the basketball here in the third quarter. The Knights actually out-rebounded York in that first half, Jake, but they also had 16 first-half turnovers. As Roos lost the ball.
Turnovers definitely a problem for the Knights in the first half. However, for the Spartans also with 12 turnovers in the first half, only used to getting 16 a game. Both teams a little over their turnover averages game to game.
Kelsey Johnson able to corral the ball on the baseline. Knights only have 8 on the shot clock, though. They're going to have to fire. Pass knocked away and stolen away. As Barnes tried to force that pass into Windsor, it is swiped away, though, by the Spartans, who come right back the other way for an outside jumper. Wagner hits. Katie Wagner scores to make it 48-35 Spartans.
The Knights trying to get Shelby Windsor involved down low early, but it's Morgan Golick down there, as you can see currently against Kelsey Johnson, playing some really good, solid defense down low.
Windsor had her shot blocked by Roos.
And it's Golick and Roos right now who
Wagner all the way, and she can't score.
It's Golick and Roos right now who are getting involved heavily down low, each with 2 blocks. Well, Roos with 3 blocks on the game. A total of 7 so far for the Spartans, who are getting it done below the basket.
Meredith Ouellette hits a jumper from the left side. She was 0 of 6 in the first half and hits her first shot here in the second half to pull the Knights back to within 11, now at 48-37. Roos really not afraid to go after those blocks, too, as it'll be Bishie missing a 3. Rebound. Golick grabbed it. Another chance here. Roos on a drive to the basket. A little jump shot is good.
Good pull-up jumper by Roos, rather than taking it all the way to the basket and maybe getting an offensive foul where a defender was awaiting her. Just stopped and made the pull-up jumper. Easy bucket for Roos.
Windsor from a foul line jumper can't hit anything. And York back the other way. It's Wagner lobbing down low for Roos. Kicking it back to the left side to Wisely for a 3, no good. Corey Stout able to grab the rebound. And now Corey on the fast break really doesn't have the numbers. She'll wait for her teammates. Alexis Barnes, who has 3 fouls, driving to the basket, and she can't score. Rebound, Kelsey Johnson over to Ouellette, now to Barnes, who had a 3 in the first half, and she hits that 3.
Barnes not doing as well as she'd hoped on her drives down low behind the basket, below the basket with layups, but doing extremely well behind the arc so far today. Alexis Barnes getting her pay's worth today behind the arc.
And the Spartans come right back with the basket to make it 52-40. So every time the Knights try to make a run, York right there to respond with the basket. Right now a 12-point York lead. Ouellette, right side, jumper, too strong.
Ouellette uncharacteristically not shooting very well today, Jim. Ouellette typically and historically one of the best shooters on the Knights team.
She's now 1 of 8. Wagner got her own rebound and scores. And now it's a 14-point lead, and the Knights will take a timeout with 6:42 to go in the quarter. As obviously, Jake, Coach Heather Roberts does not want this lead to really start ballooning out.
Absolutely, the Knights attacking the basket very well so far here in the second half, but as we said in the first half, just giving up the buckets down low. Easy buckets so far for the Spartans, who have just been easily been able to give the 1-2 punch back as the Knights go down with the jab. The Spartans come back down with the right hook. As we said, Meredith Ouellette right now uncharacteristically not shooting the ball very well. Historically, one of the best shooters in Knights women's basketball program history.
Yep.
If you want us to be honest here, Jim. But so far, 1 of 8 tonight, looking very rushed in her shots, not getting her feet planted very well, and not taking a lot of time to shoot the ball. And as we can see, not making buckets. Her last one even an air ball.
She's 1 of 8, I believe, for the game so far. Knights trail by 14. Needless to say, they really need a basket this trip down. Following that timeout, Stout working through traffic. Tried to get it to Willett. Out of bounds. Last touch by Meredith Willett. Tough pass for Stout to make to try to get it to Willett, who was moving, going through a couple of defenders, too. Knights trail by 14. This is Bishie passing down low, and an easy layup up and in by Golick to make it 56-40. Looked like she maybe got a finger in the eye as well. 16-point lead now for the Spartans. Kelsey Johnson traveled with the basketball. Looked like she wanted to go down low, Jake, and really could not make that pass, and as a result was forced to drive to the basket. But as you mentioned, that's one of the areas where you see a lot of travel calls, and the Knights get hit for traveling that time.
Absolutely. You give the pump fake, and then you go to drive towards the basket, but you step before you dribble.
16-point ball game. Pass down low, inside to Golick, couldn't score. Barnes battling in there. Knights come away with the ball, down by 16. Stout lost it. Tried to get it back to a teammate. Wagner with the steal, and she can't get the layup to go. And Stout right there to hang on to the ball. Ahead to Willett. She's able to grab that pass. Now Eads driving to the left side, and she is fouled on her drive to the basket. And so that means Eads will go to the foul line to shoot 2 foul shots. And Eads will go to the foul line, and she is a 67% foul shooter.
Great job by Kimberly Eads, able to drive to the basket, go intensely, attack it with conviction, able to draw the foul. What we need to see up top for the Knights, and especially the point guard position, is a better awareness of the court. As we can see Corey Stout driving down the court 2 possessions ago, which ended up in a turnover. Her eyes are directly ahead of her rather than looking around, slowing the pace down a little bit and seeing what there is offensively to make a play. And the Knights need that all around, especially in the point guard position, so that they're able to get some smarter offensive possessions.
Eads gets 2 big foul shots. Larissa Knight back into the game along with Alexis Scott. Jamila Gamby joining Eads out there. Windsor also in, replacing Eads, or replacing the foul shooter, and the layup makes it 58-42. So the Knights, every time they try to cut into that big lead by York able to respond with a basket. Right now, a 16-point lead for the Spartans. Larissa Knight giving up her dribble. Down low to Eads. Blocked away. Another block, that time by Golick.
Golick now with 3 blocks on the game to match Ruse's 3 blocks and also Wisely's. Actually, I stand corrected here. Where is my... Oh, yeah, Wisely's also 2 blocks. Now the Spartans with 8 blocks on the game.
Golick couldn't hit the 3. Gamby grabs the rebound. She'll try to go coast to coast. Now she pulls up. 16-point lead for the Spartans. Windsor driving over to Gamby. Shot clock down to 11. Larissa Knight with a jumper, air ball. And the ball goes over to York with 4:23 to go here in the third quarter. Mosniak will check in for the first time in the second half for the York Spartans, and she had a big first half with several three-pointers.
3 for 3.
Yeah, 3 for 3 and 9 first half points. And she's open for another 3. Missed it that time. Wide open that time, Jake, but that's her first 3-point miss. Alexis Scott couldn't get the shot, challenging the bigger defender. And Jamila Gamby trying to grab the rebound is called for the foul.
The Knights so far this game, Jim, shooting much better percentage-wise from beyond the arc. Maybe the Knights need to look for a little bit of an offensive pivot, mentally at least, and maybe look for more perimeter shooting shots, or perimeter shooting opportunities, rather, to maybe get themselves back into this game. Not having a whole lot of luck down low with the size of Golick, Wisely, and Ruse under the basket.
And another foul called inside as McGowan driving to the basket is fouled. Gambia, that last foul that she picked up was her 3rd. This foul will be called against the Knights, and it will go against Kimberly Eads, and that's her 2nd. Lead stays at 16 after the missed foul shot. And McGowan went out of 2. 59-42 as Leilani Hansen will check in. So Leilani Hansen will check into the game. She had a three-pointer in the first half. See if Leilani can start contributing in the second half to try to pull the Knights a little closer. They're down by 17.
Good job by Knight to get across court there. Not a lot of opportunities to pass the ball, but against Debria Hendricks, able to get the ball across the court. Look, almost losing it here, but giving the ball to Leilani.
Shot clock suddenly down to 7. They're going to have to fire here. 4. Hansen will fire a long 3. It's no good, air ball. Knights had to go with a desperation 3 as the shot clock was winding down. Foul. Eads, I think, is going to pick up her third foul as she bumped Keeney on the drive to the basket. That's her fourth foul making. So Eads has 4. Gamby's already got 3. Barnes has 3. And Gamby just picked up her 4th.
Gamby a little too anxious there to get into a defensive position against the Spartans and bumps straight into the offensive player for York College of Pennsylvania. You just can't do that. You have to learn to control your body a little bit better than that as you give away really a completely unnecessary foul there.
And it piles up the team fouls here in the third quarter, which could mean York might be shooting some foul shots before this quarter is over. Drive to the basket, no good. Knights grab the rebound, down by 17. This is Scott on the right side. Over to Kelsey. Now Leilani Hansen. Back to Kelsey Johnson. And she is fouled. So Kelsey will go to the foul line to shoot 2.
Great job by Kelsey using that pivot foot to kind of give a sense of misdirection to the Spartans defender, which allowed her to get off a clean shot. Unfortunately, does not go in to create a 3-point opportunity, but does draw the foul and now makes her first free throw opportunity for a 2-point play here.
Kelsey came into the foul line just a 46% foul shooter, averaging 6.1 a game. And she's really stepped up her offense the last couple of games. Gets 1 out of 2 from the foul line. Debria Hendricks, double team. Gets it up court to Shearer. And a travel is called. That one will go against McGowan.
And there's the third one of those travels, Jim, this game is McGowan right there with the pump fake pass and steps before she dribbles. Another travel here called in the game.
Another big trip down for the Knights, trailing by 15. Hansen, baseline drive. Tough shot to make. Foul called on York.
It's nice that the Knights can get these fouls down low because that's about all they've got going for them right now in the paint are drawing fouls. They're not able to get a lot of points in the paint, just able to draw fouls. And as long as they can continue to do that and shoot well at the free throw line, then they might be able to get back in the game. As we said earlier, they might benefit from somewhat of a change in offensive strategy and look for more perimeter shooting opportunities to get themselves back from a 15-point deficit currently as we enter the last 2.5 minutes of the third quarter.
Hansen had come into the game 6 of 11 from the foul line, only 11 attempts for the season. Missed that one, missed the second one, so 6 of 13 this season from the foul line. Crucial misses at the foul line for Southern Virginia as they trail by 15 points here in the third quarter. And getting free down low, it is Katie McGowan, the 17-point lead for the Spartans. Louis Cervera back the other way. They look down low for Kelsey Johnson. She's not free. Hansen on the left side now. Louis Cervera stops. Windsor. Shot clock 6 now. Knights are going to be forced into shooting quickly here. It's Windsor. Couldn't get the shot to go inside. Had a good look at it. Tough miss there for Shelby Windsor.
Windsor just having one of those days, Jim. going up a little too strong time and time again and not able to put the ball into the basket.
Hendricks with a good move and a nice block out of bounds by Alexis Barnes from behind.
Third block of the game. Pretty impressive. You almost think Alexis was playing center today, Jim.
Especially, again, if she doesn't make that block, it looked like maybe another easy layup that time for Hendricks.
Absolutely. Barnes definitely doing her part on defense today, playing very well and getting 3 blocks when she only had 4 through 18 games this entire season.
So Windsor checks out, and Willette is in now. Knights down by 17 as we near the end of the third quarter. Lob down low, knocked away by the Knights. Willette picks it up. And York College called for a foul. That one will go against Keeney. So each team has 14 fouls with a 1:28 to go in the third quarter. Knights trailing here 61-44. All right, this is layup to go, and now it's a This is Willette, 1 of 8 for the game. Fouled, and she makes the basket.
That will definitely help Willette in her mentality a little bit, who's certainly been a little bit down through this game, being 1 for 8 before that shot. Now 2 for 9, but a great shot as she takes it to the basket, pulls up and I almost say double coverage, but that's a football term, Jim. Being double teamed, draws the foul and makes the bucket for an and when you see those big claps from Meredith Willette as her head's getting a little bit back more into this game.
And there was a big make on that chop shot by Willette. She misses the foul shot. 63-46. Hendricks looked like she was fouled by Tui Severe. No call. The Knights come away with a loose ball. And now it's stolen right back by the Spartans, and Wagner gets the easy layup to go. 65-46, and the lead is right back to 19 now. Long 3 by Willette is no good. Left that one short. Hendricks grabs the loose ball rebound, then she loses it. Willette, baseline jumper, rimmed out. Boy, Meredith Willette really overall just having a tough time. I believe now that she is, 2 of 11 for the game.
Needs to take the momentum she got on that 3-point play and channel it to make some good, clean shots. As long as she continues to take rush shots like she has been this game, she'll immediately fall back into a funk after gaining a little bit of momentum with the 3-point play.
Barnes almost had the good block, but just picked up her 4th foul instead. And now Windsor looks like she'll be in there to replace Alexis Barnes most likely, who just picked up her 4th foul. As Shear misses the first foul shot. Barnes almost got a clean block, but used some of the body, it looks like, to block that shot by Shear. Too strong on that foul shot. 2 misses for York. Still a 19-point lead here for the Spartans. And almost a steal by Shear.
Shearer seeming to be kind of like Alexis Barnes' counterpart on the defensive side of the ball for York College of Pennsylvania. Not with the blocks, but with a lot of steals today, or almost steals as well, as Shearer playing very well defensively for the Spartans.
Pass down low to Windsor. She couldn't handle it. Bounces off her knee and out of bounds, and it's still a 19-point York lead with 16 seconds to go here in the third quarter. York trying to get the last shot of the quarter. Wagner gets out of a triple team to Hendricks. Hendricks left side. York wants to run the clock down. And now open for a jump shot outside. Up and no good by Roos. But a rebound is put up and no good by Golick at the end. So we have played 3 quarters. It's a 19-point lead here for York, 65-46. They led 46-35 at halftime. So they were able to outscore the Knights in that third quarter, 19-11. Matched its biggest lead of the game so far, 19 points, as we start the fourth quarter here shortly.
Defense and turnovers, Jim. Say it over and over again.
Yep.
Defense and turnovers. Right now, the Knights not doing a horrible job, especially shooting from behind the arc, as we've been saying this game so far. Shooting pretty well percentage-wise from 3-point range, but not getting a lot going under the basket in the paint either. What they do have going for them is drawing fouls, but you got to be able to get 3-point shots and not have to score on free throws, which they're not shooting as well as they'd hope from the free throw line as well. The Knights going to have to put something absolutely extraordinary together here in the fourth quarter if they're going to come back down from fourth ranked in the Capital Athletic Conference, York College of Pennsylvania's 19-point lead.
Yeah, the Knights hitting from the field less than 29%. As you mentioned, turnovers really, especially when you're trailing, you can ill afford those turnovers. The Knights have now 23 turnovers for the game.
Absolutely, 23 turnovers, averaging 25. I mean, you imagine that it's going to get there here in the fourth quarter. And York College of Pennsylvania did a great job in that quarter of actually mitigating the amount of turnovers. Went from 12 in the first half to only 3 in the third quarter, getting a little more efficient on the offensive side of the ball as the Spartans.
Windsor's blocked again, that time by Roos with another block. And the loose ball's picked up by the Spartans. Boy, Roos is just amazing the way she's able to make those blocks and not draw contact or actually commit fouls. And then the other way, Stout, to stop that layup attempt, is forced to foul.
It's because of Ruse and Golick down low that the Knights aren't getting anything going down there. Combining for now, I think 9 blocks this game. Those two have been an absolutely dominant pair.
That was her 6th block of the game.
Down in the key, not allowing anything to go, which really hurts the Knights in that Shelby Windsor and Kimberly Eads are some of the best players on the Knights team, and if they can't get anything going down low, then you've taken away almost a third of the Knights offense.
2 missed foul shots. York is now 9 of 17 from the foul line for the game, so they missed 8 foul shots, and they still lead by 19 points. And fortunately for the Knights, the York Spartans have missed a few foul shots. Here's Willette. Gives up her dribble, and the steal. Another turnover by the Knights with 9:15 to go in the game. Wagner, nice give and go down low to Golick, and she scores, and she's fouled. Let's see, Kelsey Johnson, I think, is going to pick that one up. Nope, they will instead say it's going to be, I believe it's going to be Kelsey Johnson.
Yes, it should definitely be Kelsey Johnson, caught sleeping down low a little too
The
late.
referee signaled 23, and Alexis Barnes is not out there, and the foul shot is good. So 68-46 with 9:05 to go, and Morgan Hartvigsen is going to check in here in a second, along with Angel Tui Severa.
Scores table having a conversation with one of our referees who has signaled the wrong number,
So
as
they
you
signal
said.
Hansen apparently is
Exactly.
going to pick it up.
Which is also interesting, considering the fact that Golick did go to the line for the three-point play, and it was certainly Johnson on the foul. I guess Johnson got away with one there as Leilani picks up her first, which keeps Johnson out of foul trouble.
68-46 now. It's a 22-point lead. York, again, with its biggest lead of the game now, 22 points. Knights with a few substitutions, including the first appearance of the game for Morgan Hartvigsen. They'd love to set her up for a three-pointer. Knights are going to need some threes maybe to get back in this game. Windsor down low, blocked again by Roos. That's her 7th block of the game.
Ruse just having her way down low, and no one with an answer to Ruse's dominance, who gets her 7th block of the game now with 52 blocks on the season through 18 games. Absolutely unbelievable.
6'1". She's got the height advantage, Jake, but it also looks like she's got anticipation of how to play defense. Now she travels with the ball, but it looks like she's got good anticipation of not only how to play defense, but where her opponent is going to go with the shot.
Absolutely, and the Knights just need to be a little bit smarter down low. You can't continue to keep going up the way you've been going up all game and hope for something to change. You have to make the change on the offensive side of the ball.
Corey Stout's had a tough game with turnovers. Almost lost that one, 68-46. Knights trailing by 22 points. Corey's had at least four turnovers here today. And it's been tough for her, Jake, to deal with the height disadvantage on her end of things. Of course, Corey also missed, 2 to 3 weeks, I believe, with a concussion, so that has really been tough for her to battle back from. Pass down low to Windsor against Roos. Can't get the shot to go. It looked like Roos forced Windsor to change her shot that time. Golick on a fast break attempt. She can't score. Wagner can't score. And it's going to be York basketball with 7:51 to go.
Knights unable to get the defensive rebound there, as possession will stay with the Spartans back on the offensive side of the ball for the Knights. Windsor trying a little bit there to do a little bit more down low to kind of evade the defensive skill of Ruse, but Ruse right there once again.
22-point lead. Hendricks will pop the jumper. Good rebound there by Tuya Cervera. She works it up court in a hurry to Stout. Corey going to fire a three and missed it. Eads rebounds and scores. Makes it a 20-point game. Steal by Tuya Cervera. Grabs the loose ball, hands it off to Eads.
Great job by Tuya Cervera there to sacrifice her body a little bit and dive on that ball to make sure that the turnover was completed, and it sure was. The Knights with a good defensive to stop.
Eads, hook shot up and no good, too strong. Tough miss there by the Knights. Could have pulled that lead down to 18.
And that's the right idea by Kimberly Eads down low with the fake turn on the pivot foot and with a lot of speed, which caught Ruse a little bit off guard there.
Wagner is called for a charge. Tuya Cervera right there to pick it up. So Angel Tuya Cervera defensively making some big plays as the Knights trail here by 20 with 6:55 to go. York came in 4th place in the conference at 7-4, 2 games ahead of the 5th place team, so they're in pretty good shape for making the postseason conference tournament. Also trying to win their 14th game of the season. Eads driving, shooting, scoring.
Kimberly Eads finding a little bit of an answer to the defensive dominance of the big Spartans defenders down low, and I think the answer, Jim, is speed. She's playing very quickly, which is disallowing a lot more time, which is kind of counteracting. I can't speak right now, Jim.
Yep.
Which is counteracting the patience which Ruse has had so far and has been allowed to have because the Knights maybe haven't been moving as quickly down low, which has allowed her to analyze movement a little bit more. Kimberly Eads not allowing that kind of time and patience with quick play.
Fouled out of the game, though, committing that foul. That would be the 5th foul on Kimberly Eads. So 6:16 to go, and Kimberly Eads, who was just starting to heat up, as you mentioned, Jake, with a couple of baskets, now fouls out of the game.
Unfortunately for Kimberly Eads, all you can hope for here is that Shelby Windsor is also seeing that same kind of play from Eads and is able to reciprocate it on the offensive side of the ball for the Knights.
Yeah, when you've got a blocker like Roos out there in Golick, you can't be predictable, and you really have to be quick on your shots. Well, York has missed a lot from the foul line today, and yet they still lead by 18. Missed at least 8 shots. Golick makes that one. York by 19. Knights lost a couple of weeks ago at York, but that loss was only, I believe, 12. Knights need almost to be perfect on their offensive end to try to overcome this 19-point deficit, but another turnover, that one on Windsor. Three-pointer outside by York is up and good.
Beautiful pass by Katie Wagner there on the wing. Rather than taking the three-point shot, seeing the open player at the top of the key for the Spartans, Katie Wagner's shot would have been almost open. Wouldn't have been a bad shot, but elects to take an even more open shot, and it pays off. She gets the assist, and the Spartans come away with another easy three-pointer, now leading 22 points, 72-50 over Southern Virginia University.
Yeah, Beth Wisely hitting that three from the top of the key, and now York has its biggest lead so far today, 22 points at 72-50. If this score holds up, the Knights would drop to 0-12 in the conference, 3-16 on the season. As you mentioned at the very beginning, of course, Jake, the Knights probably not in the race for obviously a spot in the conference tournament. So really, you're thinking about for the returning players, maybe just trying to get some momentum and some confidence next year.
And at this point, as you said, Jim, with the postseason out of the question, it's a matter of salvaging some wins, because if you're going to do a good job recruiting once this season is over, you need to be able to show some recruits a somewhat decent season. Yep. Whether you made the postseason or not, and are able to get the recruits that you want, you have to be able to show them that you've been competitive. And sometimes you can't sit down with them and show them, well, we lost these games, but look at the score. It was close. All they see is the record. And so the Knights just need to salvage some wins here at the end of the season.
Well, 5:49 to go. The Knights trail by 22. Go also be at home coming up next Wednesday and also next Saturday. So a good run of home games here by Southern Virginia. Hartvigsen stops, pops, hits. 2-pointer for Morgan Hartvigsen to make it 72-52, but Wagner back the other way scores on a quick layup. Knights will be at home on Wednesday taking on Marymount the next Saturday, Penn State Harrisburg. So 3 straight home games for the Knights, and they'll hope to at least get one of these for a conference win. Windsor lost the ball on a turnaround. And trying to break out of it with the ball is Bishie. Ahead to McGowan. Easy bucket for York.
And at some point, you got to wonder what's going to give, Jim, is you kind of scratch your head a little bit wondering how you don't account for 2 wide-open players on the other side of the court with no defender even anywhere close around them.
Fast break.
Right now, they're just giving up easy buckets as now they're down 26 points.
Beth Wisely, and this game is starting to unravel now and get away from the Knights, who trail by 26, 78-52. Biggest lead so far for the Spartans. And another steal by Wisely. Ahead, the pass comes to Wagner, and she'll pull it up. Good decision by York there to pull it up, try to run a little clock. Then they turn the ball over, and a foul on the Spartans. And Wagner will pick that one up. Busy sports day. Got the doubleheader today. Men's contest to follow this one, Jake. We've also got men's volleyball. They were in action yesterday, winning 2 games in a tri-match in New York, and now they're playing another tri-match today. Starts at 2 o'clock, I think, the first match of their 2 matches today. That one is in Maryland. And wrestling also in action today as well.
Yes, men's volleyball currently in their match against Elmira College. Down 1-0 in the second set, now down 24-19. Set point right now for Elmira College in the second set. Looks like Elmira might go up 2-0 here. The Knights will look to avoid the sweep and maybe come back to win 3-2 against Elmira College in Maryland.
That's men's volleyball team has really had some great performers in their debut season, including Paul Clark. Inbounds pass to Kelsey Johnson, lost it. Hubert picks it up. Here by 26. Under 4 minutes to go. Pass down low is taken away. Another turnover. Outlet pass to Roos. All the way against Stout, and Stout blocks her shot. Wow, where did that come from?
I have no idea, Jim. And
Corey
as you
Stout,
see,
5'4". Roos is 6'1". You're talking about 9 inches.
the whole Southern Virginia University bench just gets out of their seats as you can't believe someone.
Not only the block.
Stature of Corey Stout, 5'4" against 6'1", just goes up.
And not only the block, Jake, but to avoid the body contact for any kind of foul. Nice pass by Gambee to Kelsey Johnson on the fast break attempt. It almost looked like that was going to go out of bounds, and Gambee was able to somehow not only save it, Jake, but turn around and give it to Kelsey Johnson for an easy bucket.
The Knights now putting together some circus stunts going on here. Starting out with Corey Stout almost on what looked like an invisible elevator as she gets up to block Sam Roos. Now with Jamila Gambee saving the ball with Kelsey Johnson on a beautiful cut down low easy basket. And now with another turnover by the Spartans, Knights with another offensive possession.
Well, I wondered what Roos will hear in the locker room afterwards about all her blocks, or that she was blocked by a 5'4" player.
Yeah, you almost begin to wonder if all 6 of your own blocks are kind of just X'd out right there by getting blocked by someone 7 inches shorter than you.
Knights lose the ball. Back the other way comes the Spartans. Big lead here for York with just 3:06 to go in the contest. York led by 11 at halftime. And let's see who will pick this one up. It's going to be Angel Tuiasavura. Into the game for the first time for York. 5'9" sophomore.
Only recorded 15 minutes of playtime this season. See Coach Whitman spreading around some playing time now that they have a pretty dominant lead here late in the fourth quarter.
York had 46 at halftime, 32 points so far here in the second half. York also brought into the game Julia Struthers, a 5'7" sophomore. She's got the ball right now. York trying to get it down low. Kelsey Johnson right there for the tie-up, and the ball goes over to Southern Virginia with 2:35 to go. No, they're going to signal now that York's going to have it. With just 6 on the shot clock. This is Golick. York may not get a shot off in time. It is a shot clock violation with 2:28 to go. Knights had 35 points at halftime, just 19 points, though, here in the second half. Kelsey Johnson on a drive is fouled, and she'll go to the foul line to shoot 2. Both teams, Jake, have really kind of struggled offensively here in the second half.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, only 32 points scored by the Spartans here in the second half in comparison to their 46 in the first half. Unfortunately, the Knights also dropping significantly in points scored here in the second half, unable to kind of counteract the lack of offensive performance by the Spartans in the second half.
Kelsey Johnson misses another foul shot. Well, coming into the game, she was 19 of 41 shooting foul shots, just 46%. Really a struggle this season from the foul line. Knights get the steal with 2:05 to go. Tui Severa will pop a 3, and that one is short. Fast break attempt for the Spartans. Now they'll slow it down, work the clock a little bit. Bishie with it. Now Struthers. 1:40 to go in the game. Long three-pointer, up and good by Varner. Substitutions here with 1:33 to go. Beth Patrick, 5'7" junior, will check in for York. And making her first appearance today is Michaela McFarland, 5'8" freshman for the Knights from Yorktown, from Tabb High School. (81-54), and we're down to a minute 25 to go in the game. Steal. Another turnover for the Knights. Tui Severa trying to get it right back. Fouls. Jake, I don't think the turnovers decided this game today, but obviously we've had a lot of turnovers by the Knights today.
Turnovers are probably about 50% of the issue, Jim. Obviously not the full issue, but probably about 50%. If you turn the ball over, you just hand the other team free offensive possessions. And the way the Spartans have shot the ball overall today, especially behind the three-point line, turnovers certainly contributed heavily to the large deficit, almost 30 points now, and the other too many blown assignments leaving the basket.
Here's Hubert. Katie Hubert misses the shot. McFarland grabs the rebound. Tui Severa pops the jumper and hits a 3. 83-57. And Tui Severa with good defense to get it right back for the Knights.
What's good to see is that you see a lot of the Knights, especially on the bench, cheering on the 5 players who are on the court, and the 5 players on the court continuing to play intensely. It's good to see that mentally they're not defeated here. Although on the scoreboard they might be, they're still playing intensely, and that's good to see for the Knights. Takeaway
momentarily by York, but the Knights grab it right back. Gambee on a breakaway, and she scores. And Jamila almost picked up her 5th foul. A lot of contact, no call. And back the other way with a three-pointer is York missing. With 34 seconds to go, Knights have the breakaway. Gambee with another layup attempt, and she scores again. 83-61. Well, one thing you can say about the Knights is they just never quit, and they've got energy really throughout the contest with just 29 seconds to go.
Definitely nice to see, Jim. If you're not going to win the basketball game, the worst thing you can do is let it continue to defeat you for the continuing games. What you hope for is that mentally you can stay high, learn from your mistakes, and go into the next game willing to improve upon those mistakes and hopefully get a win. In their first one in the Capital Athletic Conference as the Knights following today's game against York College of Pennsylvania, will play here again Wednesday at home on February 1st against Marymount.
Marymount is a team that's 8-3 in the conference heading into today, 14-4 overall, so that's going to be a tough task for the Knights next Wednesday. But next Saturday, they'll get Penn State Harrisburg, a team that entered the contest today just 2-9 in the conference. So tough match against Marymount on Wednesday, Jake, but certainly the Knights will go after Marymount on Wednesday and have a really good chance maybe to get that first conference win certainly a week from today when they'll be taking on a Penn State Harrisburg team that is right above them in the conference standings at 2-9 in the conference.
Absolutely. If you can compete against a team like Marymount College, who sits third place right now in the Capital Athletic Conference, next thing you know, you go, if we can compete with Marymount, we can easily compete with Penn State Harrisburg, and it becomes a very good mental boost for the Knights, who could get a win or two in the Capital Athletic Conference before the end of the season.
Looks like York just wants to run the clock out here. Knights want to grab the ball, and Jamila Gambi, if that's on her, just picked up her 5th foul. So Jamila Gambi, that's the 8th time this season, Jake, that she has fouled out of games.
A very intense player, Jim, to say the least. And Heather Roberts, I believe, accounts and almost expects Jamila to foul out of the game. Luckily, this is when you hope she does foul out of the game with only a few seconds left, or it's not really going to hurt the team overall. But Jamila also recording the most steals by a long shot for the Knights this season with 39, now higher than that, over 40 after this game. A good defensive player overall.
And racked up some points today with driving layups. Clock's going to run out here, and York is going to wrap up an 84-61 win. So an 84-61 victory today as the clock runs out on this basketball game today. And with the victory, the York Spartans improved now to 8-4 in the conference, and they are 14-5 on the season. The Knights, Jake, dropping to 0-12 now in the conference. Knights now 3-16 of the season. Knights obviously were trailing by 11 at halftime, and York, despite some problems for themselves, they did not shoot the ball very good in the second half, had problems at the foul line, but they go on for the 84-61 23-point win.
Absolutely, the Knights going to need to improve on defense. Coach Roberts very adamant about this full court press defense, which she has now implemented over the past 2 or 3 seasons for the Knights. Seems to almost be a little bit more detrimental to the team than beneficial overall. You're surprised to see Coach Roberts adamantly stick with this kind of defense when it doesn't seem to be working fully for them, but it has certainly gotten better. It used to not work the majority of the time, but now they're kind of figuring it out, and when it does work, it works really well. But still today, against a team like York College, if you don't get it more than 75% of the time, then you're probably going to lose this basketball game, as they allowed way too many shots down low, wide open for the Spartans. And the Spartans, you got to give credit to them as well for shooting so well behind the three-point arc, shooting almost 50% behind the three-point arc.
So now we look ahead for the women's team here, the Southern Virginia University Knights. Again, we mentioned next Wednesday they get a tough matchup against Marymount 1 week from today. They get Penn State Harrisburg a chance next 2 home games, next to Wednesday and then a week from today, to break through and get that first Capital Conference win.
You can hope so.
And coming up here in just about 25 minutes, we'll take a little break here in just a few seconds, Jake, but we do have our second game coming up in about 25 minutes, the men's contest. Southern Virginia, Tony Caputo has had that one conference win against Mary Washington a few weeks ago, and that close game against Frostburg just about a week or so ago when they lost by 1 point. They got a chance here against York to maybe break through and get their second conference win of the season.
You hope so. And the Knights, at least the men's basketball team here at Southern Virginia University, typically plays much better at home. You like their odds at home against anybody, even against the Christopher Newports of the world. Hopefully the Knights are able to get back on track here and salvage a couple more Capital Athletic Conference wins before the end of the season against York College here in the Knight Sports Arena.
So again, we'll have the men's contest coming up for you in about 25 minutes or so, but that's going to wrap up our first webcast today from the Knight Sports Arena. Final score again in the women's contest, it was York 84 and Southern Virginia University 61.